Hello and welcome to Total Tax Accountants. Today in this exciting video, we are going to learn how you can earn up to £7,500 tax-free in a year. Yes, you heard it correctly. You can earn up to £7,500 tax-free by using the rent-a-room scheme. With ever-rising living costs, this could mean a lot of money for many families where you can earn such a high tax-free rental income. So in this video, we are going to explore what is a rent-a-room scheme? Do you actually need to own a property? Who can use the scheme? The methods of calculation, and a couple of examples, and finally, who cannot use the scheme. So first and foremost, what is a rent-a-room scheme? So a rent-a-room scheme allows you to earn up to £7,500 tax-free rental income if you provide furnished accommodation in your main home. Very important to note that you must provide a furnished accommodation in your main home. Do you actually need to own a property? The answer is no. This scheme applies to all the resident landlords, whether you own a home or not. The eligibility for the scheme, who can use the scheme? You let furnished room to a lodger in your main residence. Your letting activity amounts to a trade, such as you run a bed and breakfast business. This also then raises another question. Does it apply to Airbnb shortlets? The answer is yes. HMRC guidance does not limit the length of tenancy, how long the tenancy needs to be. So yes, it does apply to Airbnb shortlets. There are a couple of methods of calculation in order for you to arrive at the taxable profits for yourself if you're renting a room in your main property. Under method A, you pay tax on your income over and above the rental room scheme allowance. Under method B, you will just calculate the profits on the basis of total receipts minus total expenses, then whatever the difference is, that's what you pay tax. We'll just explain this further with an example. Mr. X is a basic taxpayer who lets furnished room in the main residence for £850 a month. Expenses are £385 a month. Mr. X, in this example, decides to use method A, which allows them to use the allowance of £7,500 against the total receipts for the year. The taxable profit in this situation will become £2,700. Should Mr. X decide to use method B by using the same rental income and expenses, in that situation, the £10,200 rental income minus the actual expenses, which is £4,620, the taxable profit will therefore become £5,580. As being a basic taxpayer, Mr. X will pay 20% tax in this situation, as opposed to if you look at the comparison under method A, the taxable profits are only £2,700, whereas under method B, you can see the taxable profits are £5,580. Example 2, Mr. Y is a higher taxpayer who has a holiday home in Cornwall. He lets a furnished room in his second property for £925 a month. Monthly expenses are £450 a month. Now, as you may have noticed, that is a second property for Mr. Y, which is located in Cornwall, and they do not actually live in that property. So the question then that arises, does Mr. Y qualify for rent-a-room scheme? The answer is no. Mr. Y does not qualify for to use the rent-a-room scheme. In order for them to qualify for it, individual must be a living-in landlord and letting his main residence to qualify for a rent-a-room scheme. In this situation, Mr. Y will have to compute on the basis of the total income received minus total expenses, and they will just declare it as the normal rental income profits. Finally, that brings us to the final part of this video, which is who cannot use the scheme. You cannot use the scheme if the accommodation is provided is not part of your main home and is not being provided as a furnished accommodation, or is else being used as a business or an office, or if the accommodation is provided while you live abroad. We will now summarize this topic. Rent-a-room scheme allows you to earn up to £7,500 tax-free should you let a room to a lodger in your main residence. Yes, it does apply to Airbnb shortlets, as there is no length of tenancy defined in the guidance. If you have any questions to ask regarding this, feel free to give us a call on our confidential line, which is 01494 264826, or you can drop us an email at info@totaltaxaccountants.co.uk. Many thanks.